you get an opportunity if you're somebody with 1,500 followers. You get an opportunity if you're working hard in the space to actually build and maybe put that person in your network. Now you got to understand, my friends that show up to this event are also great at sniffing out bullshit. So if they think that you're playing or think you're a waste of time, they're going to treat you accordingly. But it gives you the opportunity.
I got a switch in my head. I go from living to dead. You got me seeing all red. Now I'm becoming a threat. I fucking heard what you said. I'll make you have some regrets. And no, I never forget. So now you have a few debts. That shit, it needs to be paid with blood or some sort of pain. You caused a permanent stain, which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear. Oh.
Hello, welcome to episode 3 of Locked, Cocked, and Unfiltered. Tonight, we have a special guest. We have our usual guys. We have Chris, Clayton's wonderful wife, Jen, and then we have the wonderful, indomitable, gorgeous Kevin Dixie from various episodes of Train and Learn and all the other things that he does. Welcome to the show, Kevin. Glad to have you on.
And I got mixed feelings about your intro, bro. Next time, let Jen do part of that. Jen can do the gorgeous part. Now I do agree that you have great vision, sir. I do agree you have great vision, but it's good to be here to talk to everyone but Chris.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
I'm just glad you can make it, man.
Yeah,
The hell was that?
man. Chris has got buttons. Chris has got buttons he can play with.
I got buttons.
So
And y'all gave it to him.
well, God only knows what's going to happen with those buttons. Oh,
Hey, they're not sticking together
yeah.
yet.
Yet.
All right. So where you want to start, Tony?
Well, I think we should start because, all of us obviously know Kev, but others need to know, like, Kevin Dixie, how do you get into, what do you consider yourself? Because I know you wear lots of hats, but when you talk about yourself, if you had to give an elevator speech and introduce people to Kevin Dixie, how does that work?
They're trying to come from the space of, let's just say social media. If that's the avenue that the conversation has been conducted in, I would say that I am a civil rights advocate that has a natural ability to coach people in self-defense, and I will defend everything and every American's right to exist while at the same time bringing up my ancestors and what they did for this country and make sure that their impact is never forgotten, their sacrifice is never forgotten, that Americans understand that it's not just a black story, it's an American story, and we'll make sure that we don't revisit the lessons from the past. And if you decide that you want to bring the past into the future, I'm one of those people that will fight you intellectually. I will fight you in a legislator, and I will fight you in the streets. So that's who I am.
Man, you've given that one before. I like it.
Once or twice.
That was concise. So, yeah, I really appreciate it, man, because, obviously we all met through I don't know what you call it, a workshop. What I call is an opportunity, what you call Train and Learn, which started in 2019. And that's where I met Chris. And then what year did you come, Clayton?
2021. Yeah, 2021. Yep. So that's where I met. That's where we met. That's where we met all you guys, and here we are.
So what precipitated you starting that up? Because I think it was a wonderful workshop and a great opportunity, and I've been suggesting it to people since the very first one.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And I don't say that. I know we joke around a lot, but I mean that from the heart to all you guys and lady. I mean that from the heart. Train and Learn. So to understand why it was important for it to start, I've been in the Second Amendment space for 25 years. About half of that, you would have never seen my face. I was doing everything locally. I was doing all my community outreach locally, my civil rights work locally. Everything I was doing was local, right? I've been doing it since before Facebook, was a thing really popular. And when I decided to use the internet to share my opinion, when I decided to do that, and I was late to the party, within 6 months, it couldn't have been half a year, I was everywhere. I was invited on all the shows. I was invited on all the podcasts. And at the time, these were podcasts and magazines that I knew about, but I never thought that I would be on. But everybody, I just said the right thing at the right time, and nobody else was saying it. That's why I said I was bold enough to come out and say it. And I got invited into the right rooms. And because I have the ability to kind of foresee things, I'm like, well, while I'm in this room, I'm going to take advantage of it, completely. Get everything that I can get out of these different rooms. And then there were people that were kind enough to make sure I was in the right places for the right opportunities to get the right information to show people who I was. So I had a lot of individuals that were positioning me in rooms to win. And so I didn't have to go through what a lot of people go through when it comes to how do I break into this game? How do I do that? How do I get that first interview? I didn't have to do that. But what I did, I took my blessing and said, you know what? I'm going to try to share this information with people because I was just lucky. That's all it was. So I'm going to try to share this information with people, but I'll back it up with the fact that, yeah, I had my little playtime in law enforcement. Yeah, I've done the gun thing for a while, but I think people we don't talk about it enough that I also have 2 business degrees. So at the same time, it's like, well, and one's a graduate level. So let's take those things that aren't necessarily 2A centric and bring them to our ballpark, right? Where we can all be stronger and better. And so I had that in my portfolio, but a lot of individuals don't. So I used to just sit on a phone or respond to DMs and emails and in person for years. And I was trying to give every piece of information I had out to people. And a few different things happened. One, people didn't listen. And I don't mean that everything I say is going to be correct. When I say they didn't listen, they didn't do anything to see if I was even wrong. They just didn't do nothing, right? So you took up 3 hours of my life and you didn't even try, right? And that's a waste of breath, right? Waste of conversation, especially when you see people that you believe in, right? And they just don't do anything. That happened. The second thing that happened is that individuals would sit, they would listen, and then they would try to implement and fail and disappear because it didn't work the first time. And you just won't hear from them anymore. I think we've all seen those channels or those personalities or creators that come out. You're like, oh man, I might vibe with this, and you blink and you're like, damn, I haven't seen this person in 2 years. I think we've all seen that over the years. And I wanted to make sure that we can try to give those people something else to keep them around, because I believe everybody has something unique to offer to this game, and we need everybody. So I'm like, okay, well, how can we retain people? And then the third thing that I saw that I experienced is that I didn't need to be. I was too available, and I'm far. And I don't say this as an arrogant thing. I always tell people I think every adult is busy. So I am far too busy with the things that I'm trying to do and the mission that I see for the Second Amendment space to be around individuals that are acting like they want information, but really they're just here. They're children in adult bodies that want to gossip and play, and they're more interested in the mud of what we do instead of the vision of what we do. And so I found myself in conversations, thus now being in rooms, thus now being in private messaging groups with people that were never professionals. They just want to argue about who can make the best content, or who's got the most followers, or why they don't like this person, or why this person sucks, or why this person does this. It was gossip groups, and I don't do that, right? I'm not here to gossip with you. We are here to create change and expand freedom in this country. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting burnt out, and I'm getting burnt out on helping people. So what I found myself doing was individuals asking me questions, and I would just cold shut them down, because I don't know which one you are. And I would just cold shut them down. I wouldn't talk to anybody. Matter of fact, I started bringing on staff, and I filtered my conversations through my staff. I don't want to talk to you. And not because you're a bad person, not because you're not valuable, but I don't have the time to waste my time. I just don't. So I was sitting and I was thinking, I'm like, well, what if we could, all these friends that I met, all these professionals, all these people that are marketing executives or have these different skills or these different talents that I've just met over the years. Well, what if I open my Rolodex and said, okay, tell you what, how about we filter the people that are serious by inviting them to a professional development weekend? And if we invited those people out, then the fact that you're there extremely heightens the chance that you are a professional and have a professional mindset, right? We all go about our content and things different ways, goofy ways, you know, that. But I mean, at the core of who you are, you're still a professional, right? So how do we look and get people like that? And once we put them in a space, then all the questions that they are asking me that I don't necessarily know the answer to, right? I knew the answer to maybe 15% of the questions asked of me. I just knew somebody who knew the answer. So why don't I invite those friends into a space and have them present workshops on these topics that everybody wants to know about? You know, one big thing people asked was, how do I get a sponsorship? Well, I was lucky. I got 3 sponsorships. I'll never forget. I had 533 followers on Instagram, and I had 3 sponsors, and I was getting paid for it. Right. So I'm like, well, these are the lessons I've learned, but I got marketing executives that are the ones that are actually doing the contracts for sponsorships. So don't ask me. Let's put them in a room. Ask them, you know, that way everybody can hear it at the same time. And then I'm like, well, if we do that, we can also touch on the business workshop topics that are actually important that year. As you guys know, our industry is like this, right? So we have to stay abreast of what the hot thing is at the time, or what our new issue is at the time. So that's why another reason why we do it in the springtime, because we're just coming off SHOT Show, NRAM, and before everybody goes out with the new products, here are the things that you can do. Here are the things that the industry is facing. Go out and be great, right, to everybody. So I decided that if we did that and then put on a second day, I said, what if we do some training? Because a lot of individuals that are great at marketing, and we need them, they suck at gun handling. It is what it is. And then individuals that are great at teaching or handling guns, many people don't have the opportunity to just afford to go train with all these different people. So they could be great, but they can't get better because they're limited. They have limited access, right? So I was like, well, what if we put trainers in a position where they can teach the executives, the marketers, and things like that better gun handling skills, and at the same time, we take somebody that's better at handling guns, or maybe even a professional coach themselves, and let them hear and see and learn what other coaches from around the country are doing. I'm like, well, it sounds like a win-win to me. Let's just do that. And then let's have fun. And then let's give everybody a chance to rejoice and have fun together, and take everything they've learned over a couple of days and put that together on Sunday, our last day. And let's sprinkle in some networking events. Let's teach people how to network. And so that was the brainstorm. And I decided that I wanted to do it in February or March. And I did it, and we launched it in May. And I did the first one by myself. It was kind of like I tried to do everything. And if there's a picture of me hugging Chris, which I regret, but there's a picture of that. And in that photo, you see Chris is having a moment, but what he didn't realize, even in that moment, he was really keeping me from hitting the ground, right? Because I was trying to do so much, and I was so exhausted. And then from that, once again, you'd be blessed to know good people. From that, we had Jara Hutchins, Clarendon Chamber, who's now Jara Turner, newly married. She was like, yo, these boys are hungry. You got some big boys here. I'm going to order them some pizza. And then she sat down with me. She was like, you need help. I'm going to jump on board and help you next year. And then from that, we got Jara. Me and Jara ran it for a couple of years. Then we added Alicia, Boomstick Babe. Alicia came on because she's great at the things that she does. So she came on to run that. Then Devin Perkins, about year 2, Devin came on, and he was going to be the full-time media guy. He's a great podcaster, expanding it out into media. He was like, yo, I'll come in and manage everything media so you can focus on other things. And then even this year, we've expanded the staff by 3. So now we have 3 consistent RSOs and people to run around and make sure we got water and all the knickknacks. So now over the years, we've even built a full staff to expand the learning. So I know that's a long-winded way of saying where it came from, but that's how it kind of formed. And that was my give back to the industry to say, you know what, man, I got you. When people are like, I wish I could talk to the guys with 1 million YouTube subs, or the people that have been there and done it or have successful podcasts. Well, I hope you don't think you're going to do that at SHOT Show. Right? I hope you don't think that's the place. Right? But if you come to Train and Learn, there will be a couple of those guys there. There's never been a year at Train and Learn where there haven't been 2 or 3 multimillionaires in the audience. Never. There's now I'm not going to advertise their business because who would want that put out there about them, right? There are also every train and learn. There are 1 to 4 or 5 highly successful YouTube people or Instagram or social media people, right? This year would be no exception. So you get an opportunity if you're somebody with 1,500 followers. You get an opportunity if you're working hard in the space to actually build and maybe put that person in your network. Now you got to understand, my friends that show up to this event are also great at sniffing out bullshit. So if they think that you're playing or think you're a waste of time, they're going to treat you accordingly. But it gives you the opportunity. It gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I can take advantage of being in the spaces that everybody for years has been gatekeeping. People haven't put this information out. They haven't wanted to share. Nobody will tell you how to get your Instagram page bigger. Nobody will tell you how to expand your YouTube. This camera I'm talking to you guys on right now, when I needed to program this camera for it can look the best, I called Jonathan, Tactical Toolbox. Over 1 million subs on YouTube. I'm blessed to be able to text him and say, hey, dude, help me. And he helped me, right? The lighting, that's Guns and Gadgets. Jerry Giannis from Guns and Gadgets. First one to set me down to coach me on lighting. Mr. Guns and Gear, sat down and coached me overall on equipment, lighting, formatting, when to put things out, right? I had a lot of other individuals as well. I don't want to forget anybody, but a lot of Sean Hearn, we like shooting, gave me interview tips and things like that as a professional podcaster. So I'm blessed to have these people that have always dropped these nuggets of information. And then I just want to see if other people will take advantage and share. So it's my give back to the Second Amendment community to say, hey, we can catch people coming in. We can get people in the middle, and we can get people that are already great, and we can all come into a space and learn together. We can train, we can learn, we can teach people how to network so that they stop thinking because I got some dude that's the marketing rep from this company at SHOT Show, and he told me he was going to send me a gizmo that I'm networking. You don't have a network. You're a fucking beggar. And those are the things that are being said about you behind the scenes. So it's not like I'm saying anything that hasn't been said. You don't think that this Second Amendment industry is tiny, right? So if you go ask 15 companies for product, trust me, 2 of them, 3 of them know each other, right? And so people were thinking that was building their Rolodex because you walk up to people and you ask for free shit. And I'm like, it's not free, guys. You do understand if you don't create with that could tarnish your reputation. So you think it's free. It's not free. You were probably actually better not asking for $115 widget that costs that company $30 to produce, because when you don't produce the right amount of content or you oversell yourself and they don't get the deliverables that you promised, now that $30 that they invested into that product might have cost you 3 years of your reputation. Right? But without understanding some of those things or somebody actually telling you that, you just think that you're in somebody's Rolodex. I don't go up to companies and beg to talk to the marketing representative. Half of them I talk to the CEOs. But you also have to understand how to softly get into those rooms and how to properly network, and then how not to bog somebody down, right? If there is a point of contact at the company and you happen to know the CEO, but you know the CEO is busy doing CEO things, then yeah, you might need to talk to that marketing director. But that marketing director probably understands the relationship you have with the higher ups. So maybe if you softly work your way in, you can be more respected with who you know, intertwined with the company. People don't know about strategic alliances, strategic agreements. They don't understand that even when you go out and you ask a company for something, you've now entered into a bid, right? So what's a competitive bid? How do you compare and analyze return on investment? How do you do that? You know, right? How do you analyze your market? How do you deliver on your deliverables and show them that you are worth it? Or have you ever tried this tip? You ever walked up to somebody and asked them what they need instead of telling them what you can give them? What do they need? Right? You walking, just like walking up to a millionaire saying, "Hey man, I can get you $1,000." Yeah. All right. But he needed advice on how to connect more with people in person because he sucks at his social skills suck or whatever. Right? So that's where the idea for Train and Learn came from. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's where it came from, and that's why it's a passion of mine. And it was just my give back to say, man, I was put into a blessed situation. I was just lucky. God had his hand on me, and I walked into all the right rooms and conducted myself accordingly. And I wanted to bring that information and bring how I did that and bring those connections back to everyone else, because I want to see somebody blow up. I want to see everyone be successful. I want to see the Second Amendment community survive and thrive in the future, even amongst our disagreements. Like, we need freedom. Freedom does not exist without us, right? So why wouldn't I want to make it stronger? And that's where it came from. And then we have people try to, I'm going to say it, we have people that try to steal the idea, and they're failing miserably. Do things from the heart, do things authentically, and then you will see success come to you, and you will see people support you, even when there's not even a lot of money involved. That's why we don't have to charge a lot for training on, right? And that was the other thing. I wanted it to be affordable, right? Now, this is the only thing I don't argue about. I don't argue about the price. So you get, this year we're going to have up to 12 workshops. What you guys will be experiencing this year too is that for all the platforms that operate in the public sphere, right? Like you have followers and they interact with you and stuff like that. The content creation day, Sunday, we're actually going to give everybody one free pass to give out to your audience to come hang out with you at the range. Right. So now somebody that follows you can come hang out at the range with you from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Sunday. Right. And you get to bring them into the world, let them meet some of their favorites and stuff like that. Right. And then you can use that as whatever kind of tool on your platform. So we have 12 different workshops this year, 5 in a classroom, 4 on the range. And then Sunday, we're doing 3 optional workshops that will be conducted at the range. They're optional to go. We're doing one that's centered around women and the complexities of being in a male-dominated space. And that's going to be just for the women to have. We're not going to be a part of that conversation, fellas. That would just be the ladies. That will be led, and they will be talking through it from not a, we're just yakking in a room. There will be information presented to help them get through that, any of those barriers. There is going to be a Stop Sucking as an Instructor class. That will be a very interesting one. I'm going to try to sneak away and get to that one. That'll be a very interesting one. And then we have a third one called Do More with Less. So if you're limited on your camera equipment and things like that, we're going to have a videographer that's going to show you like how you can maximize the limited equipment you have for you can create better content with what you currently have. That way you're not limited while your budget is trying to catch up to get things done. So we've added those 3, and those are optional because that can be very specific to who needs that. But that'll be optional on Sunday. Doesn't cost anybody any more time. It's already going on while you're at the range. And then, you know, you're going to get 3 meals. So you get the workshop day, 3 meals, the bonfire, a bourbon and cigar pairing class that includes a free cigar and a pour bourbon if you partake. We're going to, and I'm going to keep my maul this time, but we're going to bring back the night vision experience and have the night shoot for anybody that wants to participate in that. And, you know, man, it's a good, great time. And we include all the ammo that's required for your training and the price of Train and Learn. And it's $400. You know, so it's meant to not be cost prohibitive. It's meant to be something that people can look at and say, okay, $400, 3 days of learning, 3 meals. You're giving me the ammo that I need to complete the training. I get access to companies and sponsors that are looking. Remember, everybody at Train and Learn, all the companies are looking for people to work with. That's why they're there. Yep. That's why they're there, right? So they've already been primed to talk and have negotiations and deals with you. And you get all that, man, for $400 over 3 days. I can't. If that, you know, and there have been some people that's like, oh, that's a lot of money. I'm not talking to you. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to invest $400 in your business with 3 days of consistent opportunity to do that, you're not my target audience for Train and Learn. I'm not speaking to you, and that's okay.
So I've been talking. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
That could easily be a $1,000 to $1,500 training event right there.
Easy.
I mean,
don't you calm down, man? You telling him that? I'm with you.
Hey, you still got your OnlyFans. You'll be all right.
Naughty Santa after dark.
I was talking to people about it because when we first started, it was like you had to have been at least doing something. You had to be putting in the work to be allowed to come to Train and Learn, which makes sense. I mean, you actually had to have some skin in the game. You still have that as a prerequisite. Wow, that was a hard word to say. Let me drink some more of this bourbon. Yeah, prerequisite.
Must have been that creamer.
So we do we do have it as a prerequisite. What we mean by skin in the game is this. I'll give an example, right? Because we could move variables, till we're blue in the face. But I'll just give an example that has leeway left and right. Let's just say you started your company 6 months ago, and let's just say you started a small holster company. Let's just make it that. And in 6 months, you've gotten 1,500 followers on your all combined and all your social media platforms. You got 1,500 followers, and you're still trying to get the word out there about your holster. We want you at Train to Learn. We want you there, right? So we're not saying that you have to have 15,000 and we just want to see, to your point, you are already trying. What we don't want is somebody that hasn't done anything. They're a full-time carpenter, and then they just say, well, I don't really know what I want to do, but maybe I want to do something, so let me take up a space at this event, and then maybe I'll start a business. Maybe, I don't know, because we only have 60 seats. So now that carpenter who could be making great money in what he's doing and be like, I don't know, maybe I'll do this gun thing, not really sure. He's now taking a seat from somebody else that, really needed to be there. And so it's not targeting the general public that is not into the business of what we do, right? We want you to be into the business of what we do. If you are a firearms training company and you just LLC 3 months ago, and this event happens to be coming up 3 months after you LLC, but your Instagram page is up, you start promoting your first couple of classes, we're talking to you. Absolutely. If you're somebody that's been out there in the game for years, and maybe you got 500,000 followers, but you're kind of stuck, you can't get new ideas, or maybe now you're looking for people to work with, but you don't know who to work with because you're tired of going to these trade shows and everybody's just like, send me something for free, and really can't give you deliverables. Well, now, not only can you come learn how to push your business to the next level, now we also have upwards of 60 individuals in a room that are also looking for companies to work with, and they're getting information about how to be better for those brands, for their own brand. So now you, as a larger company or somebody with a larger follower, now you actually have a primed room of individuals to work with that are already showing you they're serious simply by being there. So it's a good thing for everybody. But yeah, man, if you just, if you just are like, oh man, I just want to come hang out and shoot guns with some people. So this ticket was $400 to do that for free. No, we'll politely have to refund you and sign you up for a regular training class, but Train to Learn is not for you.
I want to touch back on something you said, that picture of you and Chris. I think that speaks volume of what Train to Learn can do, because Chris's story is pretty remarkable about, I'll let Chris share it, but I just wanted to go back to that moment, because I think that was a great point of what Train to Learn can do and help people and help the businesses.
Well, that's Chris's story is really our first. Chris's story is really Train to Learn's first breakout success story. It really is. It's the first one, and it set the ground for what Train to Learn is capable of. Because I think the thing that people miss about Train to Learn is the bonding that occurs. Right? There's something in the air that where it's just not a bunch of business professionals sitting in a room. Like, man, there's a lot of bonding. There's an energy in that space that I can't describe it, right? It's authentic, it's real. It puts you in a situation where you feel like you're around people that give a damn about you, right? That Absolutely. Want to see you win, that want to know that you're okay. People will follow with you after the event. They'll hold you accountable for what you said you're going to do. So it's a different energy that happens at Train to Learn. And Chris was just, I'm glad that he had enough trust in me to come out to the first one. And I'm glad that he continued on his pathway, because now, I mean, look at him. He's done a lot since that first time, from someone that didn't think that he would. He's done a lot. He's got the chance to travel, do some teaching and, podcasting. Chris has educated thousands of people in his area. He's been on television educating individuals so he can reach out to millions. And I mean, people sometimes when you're in it, you don't see the impact you're making, right? Because it's always not reflected in numbers, right? But teaching thousands of people in your local area is a big deal. That's not like that's not something that you can sneeze at. And so those are the kind of stories that we want out there. Honestly, I don't even care if somebody has 1 million subs, right? Have you touched 1 million hearts?
Right.
Have you impacted people directly? Have you gave somebody or given someone the skill set they need to stay alive? And Chris is just one of the first success stories that we have to where while him still operating and being in business, then he absolutely has done that and done that at a very good level. And it's a great representative for the two-way community. So that's why I always say Chris Lyles in South Carolina Gun School is truly Train and Learn's first success story.
You gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my headphones were cutting out, but all I heard was Chris came out and touched a lot of people in South Carolina. They were breaking up the whole time. So, congratulations, Chris, on doing that. That's
Chris,
great, guy.
Man, look.
Show me on the bear where the instructor touched you.
Hey, Chris, come on me.
Hey, don't do that.
Oh, we're having a shirt made about
So-
that. Don't you worry.
No, but Chris's story. Yeah, there's plenty of other stories too, and I do really appreciate Chris's story. That's one that actually is one that drove me to do what I'm doing and what we're doing. I mean, and keeps me pushing harder and harder every day too.
Yeah, and I think people. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
When we talk about the accountability, it's, certain people bust my chops all the time about starting a 501c3, but they also know I'm doing the work, but they know I'm doing the work and I can do it on another level. So I get phone calls. I get people calling and talking to me about what I need to do. And we all talk. And it is truly something different. Starting in 2019 when I went there, because I think, well, I got there Thursday. Getting there Thursday smart. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Dude, Sunday comes at around noon, and it's like you're on the range and you're doing stuff, but you know it's coming to an end, like in a few hours. And it's just like a freaking countdown that kind of sucks. And it's like everybody's got to be gone. We spent the weekend, and it's not like, haha, we're having a great time. We're getting stuff done.
Yep.
We're meeting people, and we're making sure. Because I think a lot of people go, oh, it's clicky. Bro, I've never seen a group of people that are reaching out to others. It's not like all the alumni get together and sit at the cool kids table. That's just not something we'd allow. Like, we're trying to grow this thing and to see it actively happen and see if people go and all of us have been to enough classes that the first day of class, everybody tries to keep to themselves and you got to feel it out. No, we don't have time for that. We got 4 days of this, man. Let's go.
That's what's working.
Get out there and talk. Yeah, let's go talk to another group of people. Let's get that. So I love the feeling of train and learn. I've been to other things that try to be train and learn, and the spirit is not there. It's just not there. And I'm not saying anybody's bad. I'm not saying anything, but that feeling, not there at all. So I really appreciate what you've done. I appreciate the friends I've made. I even appreciate Chris. So it's really great that Train and Learn is that I feel honored to actually have gone and call everybody here, even Chris, my friend. So I
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
I think that when you look at that spirit, man, it's like even when I look at Jen and Clayton, when you are operating something, even if it is a business event, right? But when you're operating something with good heart behind it, there's something that is untouchable when you can look at someone who is a couple who said, we're going to start a training company, right? And how many times have you guys heard that just in general, right? We're going to start a training business, right? But show up consistently. Use the things they picked up from Train and Learn and other places, right? Use those things to, okay, now we can operate in these rooms. And I blink, and one day I'm on the phone with Jen, and she's like, I am teaching a class in Wyoming. Nice, right? And for anybody that's in the instructor realm, that is amazing to be able to say, like, I went to like that side of the country to educate people. Then another representative of their brand and their business, Clayton, has been in the Southeast teaching. They've been in the middle of the country teaching. They've been operating out of 511 stores. They're connected with large conglomerates. That's what Train and Learn is meant to do. And so when I can look out and I can see their success, it's not because if it was not for Train and Learn, they wouldn't have figured out how to be successful. But my God, what if we can get them there 5 years faster, right? And just give them some information and give them a network. And I don't want everybody to revolve around me. You know, that's one great thing about Train and Learn. It's like, go talk to them. They're over there. You know, like go have a conversation. That can become part of your Rolodex, right? In which I think that's where a lot of people miss it. Is the beauty of Train and Learn is it is the opposite of gatekeeping. It is literally somebody opening their Rolodex of friends and saying, here's your opportunity. Do something with it. We made it affordable. We put everybody in a room. We're giving you education, but we're also giving you enough rope to hang yourself. Yeah. Right? You come and you act like you're not a professional, then there's going to be consequences. And even seeing people like Tony, like you coming, right? Like the 2 A's for everyone has been around for quite a while. You're not new to this, right? But to know that when we even have established brands and businesses like yourself and a man who has always been pretty good at networking, talking to individuals, getting companies behind them. You had sponsors before I met you, right? So that wasn't anything new to you. But to even see that somebody with your ilk and your experience still says, I feel good, and you've been everywhere. You've been everything, right? And I feel good. I feel, a good spirit when I come to Train Learn, and that I am still learning and growing from it. I still picked up information. Then that tells me, and I've heard other people that have been around in the game for a long time that have come say the same thing. So then that tells me like, okay, well, the guys that are seasoned and been there, done that, also are picking up information, picking up game, feeling good for a weekend, meet new people, and then they get to share what they've learned with other individuals, and that helps, all the companies grow and be better, man. So it's I try to let people know you can choose to look at anything the way you want to, but Train and Learn is literally meant to help you win. Do y'all know how hard I lost, but I fought to get it not even put on the No Other Choice website? Like people say NOC Train and Learn. You notice I never say that. I just say Train and Learn because it's not my event. It's not. I thought about it. I wanted to have it happen. But if anybody ever attends Train and Learn, you will notice I'm never really running to the cameras. I am working behind the scenes to see other brands and businesses be successful. I'm delivering water. I'm doing everything everybody else is doing to see other brands be successful. I'm sorry, Clayton, go ahead.
No, and it goes to what I tell everybody all the time is you get what you put into this event. If you show up, you put in the work, you're going to get results to some degree or the other. But like to your point, if you show up and you just think it's another range day, that's not who you're talking to. That's not what this event is.
If you want to go to a range day, there's cheaper ways to go to a range day. There's range days that have more live fire if you choose it. There's range days. There's training. You're not doing that here. You're, and I try to explain that to some people because they're like, "Oh, you went to Train and Learn," because obviously I talk about it on various podcasts, including my own, and I'm like, "You're not getting what it is. It's professional development. It's to take you to the next level. It's to give you a taste of different trainers from around the country that you'd have to travel to see, and it's different disciplines." I mean, you have competition shooters, you have self-defense shooting, you have self-defense itself, hand to hand. You have medical, which is awesome. All of that stuff you have. Now, if you want to concentrate and do that somewhere else, great, because you can go deeper into it. if you just concentrate on a class with Dustin Pluth. If you just concentrate on a class with what's Barber's first name? Trey?
Yeah, Trayvon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you actually concentrate on a class, you'll get more, but that'll be a class. This is a professional workshop and networking opportunity. And if you don't take full advantage of it, and we've watched over the years, all of us have, people not to do that. And you're looking at them going, you don't know what you did. Like somebody gave you a shortcut. Someone gave you a hand up and you did nothing with it. And it sucks for you. Because I'm going to take as much out of this as possible. I'm going to make as many friendships as possible. We're going to continue talking online with these people. From the first train and learn, I still have conversations and reach out and touch people until our last train and learn. And hopefully it keeps up for a really long time. So I like what you're doing. I talk about it all the time. I'm an apostle of it. And my question is, if no one else says anything about train and learn, what's the next level? Are you going to step it up? What's the next thing you're doing with train and learn?
Well, I am. So it is kind of a marketing thing, right? This is something I learned in a marketing class some years back. If you give people too many choices, they'll never make a decision. So we are going to keep train and learn one time a year. Because if I do it twice a year, then it'll be, so we're gonna keep it rolling in its format. Now, inside of it, I'm always gonna look for ways to make it better, right? And you guys know, you can tell me, hey, that sucked, and I'll listen to you, and I'll be like, okay, let's make it better. So we're always looking for ways to make it better, as far as like the facilities where we might be having it. What experience can we give people, switching up the instructors, switching up the speakers, and things like that. But at its core, it's going to remain the same weekend every year, very predictable. And for right now, for the foreseeable future, it will remain just south of Atlanta, Georgia. So it will be there, which is another thing that if people don't believe in what Train and Learn does. I think people forget. A lot of times I might be moving around and stuff, but I'm taking in information just like everybody else. I'm listening too. And the first time we started, the first Train and Learn we did was in the pretty much the middle of Missouri, but outside St. Louis. And we were on at Rob's Guns and Rob's Property. And shout out to Rob and Rob's Guns. That is my buddy for life, forever. Him and his wife opened up their business. They opened up their range. They opened up everything for us, right? Fantastic family, and I'll always owe them. I'll never be able to repay that debt. But since from that one to this one, I think people should even look at me. I'm not anything special. I'm trying to make it just like everybody else. But I went from having Train and Learn on a 5-acre piece of property that was great to us, treated us well, opened up their home to us, and everything is great, to now having my own 40-acre piece of property, and Train and Learn is at my property. Well, a lot of that information came from Train and Learn. So it's like when you were trying to think about expansion, just focus on instructors. What's the one thing Chris has just kind of been blessed with it since the beginning? But what's the one thing that most people fight for, man, when they're trying to teach instruction? They want a range.
Yep.
Right?
Yes,
So
we do.
That's going to be one thing that we will be adding to the curriculum is how do you actually review laws and regulations, and how do you get into outdoor ranges, right? Indoor ranges are a whole nother ballpark, right? But to help with that, we're going to be bringing in a financial specialist coupled with a real estate specialist that's going to help people do that. That's the kind of shit we're doing at Train and Learn. Like, so this is not like you can. I'm gonna stop. It's different than a range day. Let me just say that.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Well, that was, a lot of people have always reached out to me asking, what's helped my business, and I always tell them Train and Learn. But, trying to get them to understand that and to go, it's like, well, you're asking me what I did. I'm telling you what I did. You've got access to it. You just got to sign up and get there.
Yep.
There was even, 1 year you reached out to me and said that somebody donated a spot. I reached out to one of the guys that had asked me what I've been doing. I'm giving you a free spot to freaking train and learn. And you're, oh, well, no, the weekend, family. I'm like, it's one fucking
Yo,
weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
bruh,
it's Memorial Day weekend, but I mean, come on now.
Well,
they killed me with that. You
Hold
mean
up.
it's Memorial Day weekend? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Not just Memorial Day weekend, but I do have a little beef with that. It is my son's birthday, our son's birthday.
Yeah, that's why we're going to host his birthday at Train and Learn next year.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna bring camera
Yeah,
on.
I mean, you don't hear me arguing about that.
But
I'm really sad though.
and
I know.
the thing I want to add this too is because I remember the first time. I mean, I heard about Train and Learn. I don't remember when I first heard about it, but I heard about it because I was in St. Louis and you were talking to me about it after class when we met up there. We went to Montrez that night. You told me about it. And then we were up there for Bridget and Armand's grand opening. That's where you invited us there. And I knew Train and Learn. I'm like, okay, you personally invited us to Train and Learn. I knew for a fact right then and there, we needed to be there. I already had a plan. This is things I wanted to do. I wanted to become a coach. I wanted to do all these things. And I knew that this event was where I needed to be. And I was there. We were there. We showed up. And that was, I made it happen. I didn't care what was going on. We were there. So it's an amazing event. I love the event.
I'm glad you did. I mean, hell, I'm not saying anything Armand hasn't said out loud, but I think it was after the second Train and Learn, maybe the second or the third, one of those two, when they were doing in the middle of moving their business and it expanded. But Armand will tell you, they went from I'm not going to say 100% of this came from Train and Learn, but a nice portion of it did. But they literally started moving 7 times the product.
Yep.
Right? So, the small businesses, when you collect all the data from what the small businesses are reporting, I mean, Train and Learn as of now has done with 5-6 years, have done right about $4.5 million of extended revenue for small businesses.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I told you, look, for $400, you have a potential to double your intake at your business, would you do it?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
So what I've learned or what I've done in Train and Learn was, because it's not as if I wasn't already doing things and already had connections. But meet more, see my friends again. You gave me the opportunity to actually be a speaker at Train and Learn and try to reach out to people in the industry and talk about how important advocacy itself was and how to become one. And that was awesome because instead of going in, because I love the way your instructors instruct. It's not just shut up, listen to me as I rattle off some stuff, but it's a conversation. So I made sure I did that when I did my instructional time. And I had my time out there. And I just felt I was contributing if people wanted to listen, if people wanted to make that move. I think I gave them enough motivation, a blueprint, and even obviously my information is out there. Anybody can contact me. It's not like I don't speak to people at all times, but very few did. And I'm not going to concentrate on any negativity at all, but everybody doesn't take advantage of this opportunity. So if you show up and you're willing to put in work, you will be noticed and recognized for that. And I feel you're going to be rewarded because, hey, I'm so-and-so from Train and Learn. Yeah, I know. What's up, man? What's going on? And we can actually have a conversation and do stuff. I mean, this right here, this show was just us hanging out and Clayton and Chris going, we should really do this as a podcast. And we did. And it's like, why? Because of relationships we built. What's up? Actually, what?
I think that was more Jen's idea, really. She's the one that threw it out there. I just jumped and grabbed it.
Yep.
Well, Jen Schlotlicker is an actual idea person. She makes things happen. What? That's not how you pronounce that? That's not how you pronounce? He didn't have a apocalyptic fit, did he? Is he having apocalypse?
Oh, dear Lord.
Uh,
If you listened to the
uh,
last episode, Katie, you would totally understand.
Did you tell him that
No.
nickname? Because he was calling us Schlocklocker last time.
I don't know, dude. Tony was calling us a bunch of things last time.
hey, listen, they won't tell me how to pronounce it, so I just go with what I sounded it out. Slotnick. So, understand though, I went through 4 years of high school and I had to take English class every summer, so I ain't good at this. I also don't understand pronouns, even though Chris got his own pronoun too. But I really enjoy Train and Learn. I suggest that people go if they want to make a difference. But you guys ready to move on? Because I want to talk about his unique way of talking about training. Because you don't see yourself as a trainer or instructor, do you?
Oh yeah, we can definitely move on.
So I was, if the people watching the podcast can't tell, and it's okay, I'm trying to get better, but I'm a wordy guy. I like to over-explain things. It's how I communicate. When it comes to just casual conversation, not necessarily on the range. But I was venting, explaining what I'm about to say because I've been feeling this way for over a decade. And I'm just explaining this to Scotty Banks, one of the lead instructors over at Glock. And Scotty's a buddy of mine. And I'm sitting there and we're at lunch and I'm just talking and I'm upset. And he's just sitting there. And when I get done, he's like, I think what you're trying to say is we train animals, we educate people. Like, yep. Thank you, sir. 30 minutes summed up in 3 seconds. Appreciate you. So it's yes. And what I was saying, and he made so simple for me, is that I think in the gun space we get very, very caught up. Not that we shouldn't. There is some that's deserving, but we get real caught up in, can you do all the things at a very, very high level? And I will tell anybody right now, when you look at the gun space in its totality, you cannot do everything at a high level. Because what's high level? Because that's always changing. And what are all the things you can do at an extremely high level? Close quarter combat, self-defense, law enforcement, security, tactics and training, which will include like group and tier training, long distance, night vision, low light, no light, assault teams. It's so many different things that we do. No one person can master them all. Competitive shooting, right? And then what kind of competitive shooting? You're doing handgun, you're doing 2-gun, you're doing 3-gun, right? Like, and then what division are you in? Because you might become a master or a grandmaster in one and decide, okay, and then which one? You're doing IDPA, or you doing US, what is it, USPSA? All right.
USPSA.
So which one of those are you doing, and then which division are you doing that in? All right. By the time you try to master all this, you'll be 300 years old. And then don't include in the fact that you still got to work. You still got to take care of your family. You still got to put that new alternator on that old truck. You still got other stuff that's going on in life, right? So when I'm looking out at the industry, that's the first thing that got me. And then I'm looking at people that might be great at doing a thing, but they really suck at teaching because they are focused on instructing and being one of the teaching methodologies is being a directive teacher, like you just give directives, right? And that's what instructing has become. I'm going to tell you to do a thing. And when you say, well, how do I do the thing better? I'm going to tell you, keep trying. That's lazy. It's lazy. It gives no information. You sound like one of them damn get rich quick YouTubers, right? Like, just follow me and buy my program. You'll be rich tomorrow, right? It sounds like that. You're not giving people substance to really get better. When I looked at that, I was like, well, I'm not an instructor. I'm a coach. Because when I look at the great coaches, I'm a sports fan, and when I look at the great coaches, and even when you look at martial arts, those coaches, like you take Michael Jordan, right? And when you say Michael Jordan, depending on if you're talking to somebody that knows a little bit of basketball, there's a great chance Phil Jackson's going to come up in that, right? As Phil Jackson made Michael who he was because he needed to be coached. He made sure that that Bulls team came together. And then when he left there, he went to LA and had Shaq and Kobe. Right? He can coach extreme talent. And people, well, yeah, but they're players and Phil was a coach. I'm like, no, Phil Jackson played professional basketball. He absolutely did. Right? He is a fantastic coach. He didn't focus on being better than Michael Jordan. He wanted to make Michael Jordan the best version of Michael Jordan that he could be. Right? So when I'm looking out at students, I'm like, are we bringing in enough of ourselves to really maximize the potential of the people in front of us? Because they're looking at you like you are God's gift. They want to be able to do what you do. Man, I wish I could load a magazine like that. I wish I could shoot like that. I wish my splits looked like that. I wish my bill drill looked like that. I wish I could draw from concealment like that. I wish I can do all those things. And then you set yourself up as the bar. And what I'm trying to get people to understand, when you step on the range with me, from the moment I open my mouth, I am trying to make you better than me. I am trying to coach you to outperform. That is my ultimate job. And so then it doesn't become about me. It becomes about them. And have I done the research? Have I sat and did the study? Like when you look at coaches, yes, players, the professionals, show up and they are out there on the field and they're practicing. Nobody works longer hours than the coach. Nobody. The coach is doing research. The coach is looking at scouting reports. The coach is looking at what you did last time, analyzing that, then probably going outside of his own scope to find somebody else that's a specialist to make you better. So for me, and it doesn't mean I can't shoot and I can't perform. I hold myself to a standard, but I am always trying to make others better than me. So my approach to instructing is, I think it's lazy. I think it's stupid. The worst class I've ever, and I mean ever, been in was taught by a Navy SEAL. It was the worst training experience of my life. Now, because he was a Navy SEAL, could I argue and say he's a been there, done that type of dude? Possibly. I didn't doubt the fact that the brother had been in certain places and done certain things, right? But you can't teach it. You suck. You were good at doing it, maybe, but you suck at translating that information. But a lot of individuals will take their resume, no matter what their resume may be, and they'll slap it in front of people's faces and they'll throw it up in a fancy marketing campaign and say, this is what I've done. This is why you should come train with me. And then they get there and all you're doing is barking orders at them, telling them war stories. You're spending 35 minutes talking about how you went through a house with your 12 and a half inch with with whatever suppressor that you had on it. And this is why you like this type of red dot on the rifle because you cleared this corner, and this is why you wear your sling this way. And 45 minutes later, we're all looking confused because we're here for a pistol class. Right?
This is the Wendy, sir.
Yeah, right. Man, I'm like, what? So, and it wasn't just those guys. And then it was the people from the opposite end of it that have done nothing. And I mean nothing, including investing in themselves and just building their own skill set up. Right? I poured into myself to be good at a thing, right? Despite what my resume may say, I invested in me. And they just, the prime example is I taught a concealed carry class one year. This is years and years ago. This guy, I remember he comes into the class and he had, was like, hey man, I'm just, trying to learn the basics and I want to get my concealed carry permit. I'm like, all right, well, that's why you're here, sir. And put him through the concealed carry class. All right. I look up, I'm at the range 3 months later, maybe 4. And guess who's got a group of students in there with instructor bigging across his back? And so then I started looking at that, and I gave him a hard time. And then I started really paying attention to how many people were getting these rubber stamp certifications and then having a nerve to walk up to me and say, I'm an instructor too. Oh, if I'm looked at like you, I need a new title. We are not the same, sir. Like, I understand that every time I step in front of an American citizen, information I give them can save their life. So me spending time, money, reading, right? Every now and then I'll post me reading a different gun-related book. Me actually, like the red dot iron sight argument, man, I went way deeper in that than a lot of people would suspect, right? Like, everything that we do, we should take very serious, and you should go get the science. Oh man, that report was too long. It was 45 pages. Are you not a damn professional, right? So if you can walk in a room because you went and got rubber stamped, and you have people shoot 5 rounds and make them run 50 yards and run back and shoot 6. And because they're huffing and puffing, you say, yeah, this training tough training. You're not training. That's fucking aerobics class. Right? Like, so what are we really doing? Now, if the sprinting has a purpose, then cool. But I'm talking about the one that is minus the information. And so they're adding in aerobics because they are missing information. The aerobics has no place. You're just making shit up as you go. Right? You got somebody that's trying to learn what a trigger is on a gun, but you got them laying in the up under a car shooting around a tire, and it's their first time ever shooting a gun. Like, you're making shit up as you go, and then you walk in a room with people like me, and you're like, huh, I'm an instructor. I need a new title. I'm a coach. Because if that's what instructing is, I don't want to be associated with you guys. So that's my philosophy, and I would push anybody to care about the craft that much. If you, and I don't care how you do it, it's not even about your philosophy or your approach, or, you know, I'll load a mag like this, or I'll put the gun back in the battery like this, and you do it like that. I don't care about that stuff. I care about whatever you are providing people. Have you really taken the time to go out there, research the information, and truly and passionately deliver life-saving information to people? It is not about me or any of you guys agreeing with each other's mythologies. That's not my point. My point is, do you actually give a damn, or are you just taking people as cash cows? So no, I don't want to be an instructor, because to me, the instructors are lazy. They make stuff up as they go. They don't do any real research. They don't invest in themselves, right? Now, people complaining about the price of train and learn. Not the last class, but one of the last classes I took was a 3-day pistol performance course with Max Michel. The class was $1,200. I had to fly to Louisiana. I had to rent a car and drive the 2 hours to get to where he was at once I landed at the airport. I had to put myself up in a hotel. I had to eat. I had to take lunch to the range. I had to buy ammo. Fucking Max Michel, you don't think we shot a lot in 3 days? Right? Like, so I had to do all those things because it's not just me having the experience. When I come back and I get to digest that information, and boom, I get to move this around. When I am on the range with guys like Steve Hendricks, who's literally been at this since I was in high school and before, when I can stand on the range with grandmaster shooters and they say, hey, do you want to be better? Yes, sir. And they make me better. And I'm sitting there getting cursed out, getting my ass kicked, do it again, and all these different things. Every time I'm under a hypocritical eye. Every time I move, nope, you should have did that better. But I'm willing to go through that because no matter what I learn, I'm able to come back and deliver better to my students. So no, if you're just somebody that went and got that quick fly-by-night instructor certification, and then you think that you're going to walk up to me and say, we're the same? No, the hell we're not. And don't make me embarrass you. No, we're not.
Well, it goes back to a conversation you and I had a while back about, you know, are we actually teaching them or are we just selling an experience? And it actually made me look at some of the things that I was doing, like maybe some of this stuff I am doing is more of an experience than actually teaching. So it had me reevaluate a lot of my classes and stuff, because it does make you think when you talk about it like that, is how many people are out there selling an experience over actually teaching them how to use their gun?
And that's one of the things we looked at when when I got into this in 2012 as an instructor. Sean, my partner at the time, he had his business and I had Second is for Everyone, but I also had Simon Says Train. And it's like, what do you want to do with this? And my thing is, I want to be that initial 1 or 2 steps in the firearms that these people take that could save their lives with no bullcrap, no smoke blown up their ass. And they enjoy this enough to at least keep doing it, to be able to save their lives, to be competent with it, not to. And of course, as an NRA certified firearms instructor, because that's where I got my search from. And people go, "Oh, that's it?" I'm like, "No, that's not it. That's where I started. That was a certification that many ranges require. But that's not where I ended. That wasn't the only class I ever took and went, well, I'm good because I have the certification. My whole point was the people I talked to could use this tonight. You know what I mean? They could be using this tonight, even if they don't own a gun. Remember, Long Island Expressway shooting was here. Long Island Express shooting was like an hour and a half, less than an hour and a half from here, where Ferguson, this guy named Ferguson, was trying to kill people on the train, and they got the gun away from him, but nobody on the Long Island Expressway, Long Island train, knew how to operate the firearm. They couldn't even safe it. And I try to tell people, I'm like, look, if all I do right now tonight, even in my diversity shoots, if all I do tonight is teach you how to take the mag out of the gun, empty the chamber, or even keep it pointed in a safe direction after you get it away from somebody, then that was a success. It's not just to punch a ticket. It's to educate people, to make them better, to make them an asset. We used to talk about that a lot, creating assets. And if you're not adding, you subtract. And we're trying to create people that add. So, I mean, I agree with you. And it's funny because Sean and I discussed this in 2012. Like, what are our goals? And it's not to teach somebody to do a shoulder roll into a friggin' room. And I'm not going to be the fastest dude, but I'm going to be able to teach you how to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. And if you outshoot me in the class, awesome. But if I help you a little bit and make you even a better shooter when you leave, well, this was accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
Agree.
I agree.
And I know people might think I'm a little bit harsh. I think I'm in my elder age. I just don't have time to really mince words. But I want people to understand, man, if all you have is an NRA cert, let's say, right? Or even a USCCA, CCHDF cert. If you have that cert and you are honest with whom you are going after, right? As far as your skill set. Trayvon Barber put out a great video once talking about what skill sets should be teaching what people. He did a pretty good video he put out. But if you know that you're being honest about the people that you're teaching and how you're teaching them, remember, man, the certification just says that you can get insurance in the LLC. That's it. And you can abide by whatever minimum that the state sets forth. The investment in you, what you pour into yourself, is what's going to set you apart. So you could be one of the world's best pistol instructors with an NRA cert. That's fine. But the cert isn't saying nothing, right? And if you, maybe we've all had them too long to remember, but man, as a training counselor, I've had to, certify instructors, and it reminds me all the time that when we're doing the shooting certification, like, this is a joke. This is a joke, But if they hit the minimum and they're not unsafe, then by the rule, unless there's something else that happens in a classroom or you got something else going, but it's a joke. Now, one thing I will say, if somebody's looking for a challenge, this is one thing I will give the USCCA credit for. The defensive pistol program that just launched. Yeah, you carry one of those. If and I'm a training counselor, 1 of 10, I believe, for the country in that program. If you have that patch, okay, you've proven that you can perform at a level at least 5 to 6 times that of the NRA or even the CCHDF. You prove it. You've absolutely proven. I can tell you right now, they're probably going to get mad at me, but I can tell you right now, and I'm going to say 40% just to be on the safe side, or split the baby with me, go 50, because I think it's 60, but 40 to 50, where I don't get in too much trouble. But yeah, people are showing up thinking it's going to be one of those, no matter what we say and how we say it and how clear we are, they show up thinking it's going to be one of those rubber stamp situations, and they're dropping like flies.
I was just talking to Steve Washington about that, and he said the number one thing that they're seeing come through is people going through DPP and they're never drawn from holster before.
Yeah.
And some of them don't even know how to do a reload.
Yeah.
Like, what do you? Why? And like you said, no matter what you guys say, because it clearly states from concealment, from holster, like it's all laid out. They still don't get it.
Yeah. Now, mind you, think about what you just said. If people if they're not comfortable reloading and they're not comfortable drawing from a holster for the DPP, they aren't approaching DPP if they aren't already a certified instructor in another discipline. So you got a certified instructor that doesn't know how to load a magazine and does not understand how to draw a firearm from concealment. So riddle me this, Batman. What information are you giving your students? Because I promise you, if you're teaching entry-level people, guess what most of them are going to be doing? A concealed carry lifestyle, right? So how are you assisting them? But you know how you don't assist them? Let me tell you the trick how people get away with this shit. They'll constantly run battle rigs and outside the waistband holsters, even in indoor ranges, where they can avoid the fact that they have a deficiency in their training. Oh, I know all the tricks. So that's why I like the fact that, that class is 100% from concealment, because it doesn't matter. I can put on one of those battle belts right now, and I'm carrying my concealment rig now. It doesn't matter. Performance is performance.
Yep.
Right? So can you do the job or not? So a lot of people that's what I mean. That's the scary part. A lot of people are fronting, but in DPP we make you prove it, because you have to show up, code, and perform right out the gate.
Yep.
And the standards aren't necessarily unachievable.
No.
But you just have to show that you've done a little bit of work and you care some and you have some performance behind you. But I want you to think about how scared it is, fellas. You got people that can't reload, and I don't mean like, speed reload. I don't mean like JJ Rakaza. I'm just talking about they can't efficiently reload a gun or draw from a holster, but these are your instructors.
Yep.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about in our first episode of making sure you vet your instructors. Don't just look at the certifications, because I'll be honest, I could care less if you didn't have any certifications at all. But if you're going out and taking training and investing in yourself, that to me, that's worth more than the piece of paper that says I'm a certified instructor. 100%. Just like people that play on their military experience, that play on their law enforcement experience, and all that stuff. How many times have we done classes where they say they're prior military, but can't hardly operate a handgun or can't hardly operate a rifle? And I mean, that was my reasoning for when I got out of service was, to take some more training, because the handgun wasn't something that we used when I was in the military. You had to be attached to a unit that carried a handgun. And even then, the qualification was pretty much making sure you just knew how to put the magazine in, rack around in the chamber, and you could hit the target. Because, I mean, for the Marine Corps, your handgun was an absolute last resort. I mean, you've thrown all your freaking grenades. I mean, you've shot your freaking AT-4s. I mean, you're down to either your handgun or your knife. So you're going to take your chance with your handgun and then hope you best with the knife. But that's why I knew I was going to want to get my permit. I knew I was going to want to carry. So I had started getting some type of training outside of what the military showed me.
Now, the worst handgun training I've had in my life was United States Marine Corps teaching me how to use a 1911. And then
You got the 1911.
compound.
I had that piece of crap 92. That Beretta 92 that
Yeah.
everybody and their mother
So
had their hands on.
I love the fact that you think somehow that Beretta was better than the gun that was last new one the Corps had was 1946, and you somehow think your Beretta was a piece of shit.
No, that Beretta was a piece of crap. I hated that thing.
So when I got out, I did, and this is one of the things I said when I was at Train and Learn talking to instructors. I don't get mad at my students because I did almost every stupid thing out there, including when I got out. I believed the hype that I was a United States Marine and I could shoot anything. And I got my 1911 as my carry gun. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Every bad decision I could possibly make, I made. So I wanted to make sure as an instructor that I get people past the stupid part that could cost them their lives. That damn. What is the word when you don't know what you don't know? I forgot the
Ignorant.
phrase for that. No. There's an actual
Ignorant.
term for that.
Ignorant. Oh, I'm sorry. Democrat.
You keep repeating it, and
Stop
don't
it.
make it true. Don't make it true. Jesus. Anyway, it's like you got to get past that, and that's what I think are one of the most important things. Instructors understand your limitations and know who you should be instructing, who you're teaching, what level are you on. I take other classes, I compete, I shoot, I dry fire, I do all this stuff just so I'm better at introducing people to firearms in a safe manner. And also, I feel that not only am I introducing you at diversity shoots, and I'm having conversations on what's the next level, why you should go to it, and who you should go to and what you expect. So that's why I still take classes, even though I instructed this level. I take classes up here so I can actually guide people and also increase my own skill set. And the more stuff I take, the better I'm getting at talking to people because I listen to other people from different backgrounds, different perspectives, and at this point, different generations of instruction. And that helps me, I feel, be better at what I do. Because if you look at my class breakdown, the first thing I said is we're here to welcome and educate. That's it. Welcome and educate. I'm not trying to make this hard, and I'm not going to tell you stories about, my great adventures in the military. I'm like, I was a computer programmer, dude. I was a computer programmer. You've spent more time at the range. If you come to 3 of my events than I did the entire time I was in the Corps outside of qualifications.
Well, like I've had people reach out to me asking about long distance classes. No, I've got places and instructors I refer you to, but I mean, I'm not going to go. I really don't have the distance for that. I mean, I can, if you want to sight in your rifle, I can help you with that. But yeah, I'm not going to go and try to teach a long distance class just because you're sitting here offering me money. I mean, you got to know your lane. I mean, I know my lane, and that's not long distance. There's a lot that goes into that. I can teach you about windage and elevation, but past that, I mean, we're both going to be looking at the YouTube videos just like everybody else. So, and that was one thing with some of my videos I put on my YouTube channel talking about is trying to help people understand what we are doing in these training classes, because I think a lot of people just automatically assume when they hear firearms training, they think it's some high level operator, Navy SEAL, Army Ranger training that we're doing. And like you said, I'm just trying to educate the average everyday person that's wanting to carry their gun for protection.
Or the mom.
Well, that goes
Right.
back to like what I tell in our classes and my story. And I had my permit to carry for, I don't know, 8 years or something like that. And I hardly carried, but I tried like different carry ways. But then when I actually took a training class and I took Katie's class, what we talked about last time, the 2-day class, and that made me more comfortable because I didn't really feel comfortable carrying my gun. And that right there is probably a good portion of the people out there, especially women, who are not comfortable in carrying their firearm. So go out and train. Super important and super knowledgeable.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing this training is going to do. It's going to let you see if you've got the right holster, if it's in the right carry position. I've made adjustments to all of my gear, my concealed carry, the way that I conceal carry, the way that I do my battle belt and stuff. That's all of that stuff has changed because of training that I've taken and seeing like, okay, maybe I need to move this. This is not in the best spot for me.
Well, it's kind of like for me, I was always a 3 o'clock carry position, and then somebody asked me about appendix carry. I'm like, well, I've tried it, didn't really care for it, but then I made the conscious effort, like, look, I have to do this. And now that's where I carry now is appendix, because now I can have the information, the knowledge to give that next person that wants to ask me about appendix carry. I've done it several times because they ask, I should be able to answer the question. Hopefully I can answer the correct question for them. And that's like you were talking, Chris, moving things around. And that's what I've done. Now, Chris, your fanny pack is on the way, so you can start working with that too. But
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, Katie, don't you have those on your website for him?
Now what?
Don't you have those fanny packs on your website for Chris?
Waiting on my NO.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm waiting on my NOC fanny pack
No.
to go with my NOC thong.
Yeah, but it just has an N and a C. You got to provide the O yourself.
Oh, don't you worry about that. It might say wow too.
Yeah, but in lowercase letters. Nothing says wow in capital letters down there. It's like, wow. Anyway, so
go ahead, Tony.
one of the things, because we were talking and we were talking about, or at least me, I've been seeing a lot of this apocalypse gun, apocalypse train, apocalypse this, apocalypse. What's your apocalypse rifle? And I know, KD, not only do you have your own handgun branded, but did you have the rifle too, right?
No, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was mine. Anyway,
and Argo
and Argo Jet.
Okay.
But hey, you'll get there, man. I'm sure you putting together some real smooth stuff with someone. But I just find it funny because as a gear reviewer, I've been doing that for a decade. I build my guns. I've built every gun I've had because I've been blessed to have friends that have knowledge and save me from just buying something off the rack. So I never did I'm doing this because it's just as good. I found out what was good and bought it separately and put it together. Doesn't make me some kind of great dude, but what do you think about that? What do you think about the whole apocalypse gun thing? Because I feel that's marketing, but I just want to ask you about that. And what should a person stepping into the arena first actually be listening to? Should you even pay attention to any of that?
Not. I mean, it's fun. Let's be very clear about that. It's fun to have those kind of conversations, right? And I've been guilty of it just like everyone else. I think on a practical level, I will merge the conversation about, hey, what's the why the hell y'all all moving? What should I be moving to? What the hell is happening?
I know. I must have missed something. I missed the email.
So I merged that conversation, just like the part of the conversation when people say, well, what's the best home defense firearm? Let me tell you what 98% of people, if not 99% of people, are going to have for their apocalyptic gun, the one they have on them. Yep. Period. Right? So, yes, the conversations are fun. What would you have? But it's probably going to be the gun on you. So I will go to the old saying, hopefully the gun that you have on you will get you to something a little bit better, right? But if we're going to play the game, I would say that you need a reliable handgun. I would carry several of them. The Truth would obviously be number one on my list. Why would I design a gun and put my name on it if I didn't believe it worked? And but I'm also going to say that a Glock 19 is not going to fail you. So choose a high quality polymer or now metal, because we have a lot of metal options. guns that have a reputation behind them, that perform and work, and go for it. And then you need a long gun, you know. And I think that's just, but I think that's not even apocalyptic. I just think that's probably what everybody should like next level. You need a long gun of some sort. Get you a nice long gun, and may it go from there. Because a lot of people say, well, I'm going to carry a 22. And I'm like, okay, a 22 might help you, you know, if you're having the fun zombie, like, you know, apocalyptic thought, right? 22 might help you. And a lot of people have said, well, no, I'm just saying if the grid goes down, I can eat with a 22. I'm like, yeah, but can you shoot it? Because now you're talking about, you want to talk about wind carrying around. You know how much wind will throw a 22 around?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so have you trained? So you're talking about the apocalypse, but have you went out in high winds and shot that gun? Really got it dialed in? Which 22 ammo are you running out of that gun? So that's why I say, to me, I know why people are doing it. It's just fun. But to me, man, have a long gun or a variant of it and a reliable handgun and a shit ton of training. You know, and like when you talk about I'm gonna tell you like one thing. People talk about apocalyptic, right? Let's just say, for example, when people start getting into that kind of training, they're like, well, I'll carry this gun and this kind of gun. And I'll start asking them questions like, well, if things really go bad, and it's that kind of bad, have you trained in war one of these?
Yes, I have.
Right? Because when your ass can't breathe, I'm gonna take your guns and your food. And if you're talking about apocalypse, I'm probably gonna take your woman too.
Well, you've already stole Jen, so
yeah, that's true. I'll take her again.
Hey.
I think my eye twitched a little bit when I saw that.
With the gas, man.
Chris, check your phone.
So yeah, these things are like important, but I get the fun in it though. I do not want to, you know, poo-poo on the fun. And if I'm gonna totally just like play with the game, right? What would be my apocalypse? I'm still gonna stick to the handgun. The rifle would be a semi-automatic, direct impingement, and that's because DI guns you know, if something goes wrong with the piston system, it's less likely you'll be able to find a quick part, you know, to snatch on or something like that. So I would say a direct impingement gun, unless it's an AK. Direct impingement gun chambered in 223 or 308. And I picked those 2 rounds with 5.56 NATO with 308. And I picked those 2 rounds for the capability of being able to put a human or an animal on the ass. All right, so that's what I will go for. Anything outside of that, you know, like people say, you know, 22s to eat small game. I'm cool with that, but if we play an apocalyptic game, I'm just gonna wait on you to go out there and keep missing squirrels. And when you get 10 of them, I'll take them from you. Right? I think people forget. Like when you play that game, you have to think about the human beings will turn feral within days. We will absolutely turn feral within days. So it's not going to be like it's the apocalypse and you're walking by a dude that just went out there and got a whole deer and y'all just going to wave at each other. No, hey, man. A deer looking, a little whitetail too. Okay, about 6 point buck there. Okay. Yeah, you're going to need to come up off some of that. I might trade you. No, I don't want nothing you got. Oh, well, you going, sir, I'm hungry. You know, like, so you have to think about that kind of stuff. So I'll play the game and have fun with it. But realistically, man, your handgun is what you're going to have. So you should carry one on you. And that's if you want the ones lucky enough to be alive.
So we talked about this
during the apocalypse, though. Would we be shooting the staccato some then?
No. No.
Oh, you gonna shoot that?
Not shooting my staccato.
You know what Chris asked me the other day? Because we were talking about your staccato. He goes, "How much is the barrel for that?" I'm like, "Chris, you don't even want to know how much the barrel cost."
Oh, the barrel is just, it's a staccato barrel. It's just DLC coded.
Yeah.
So if we bought a barrel, would we be able to shoot it then?
Chris, you can't shoot any gun I own. Let's just start there.
Oh, come on.
But this is
You let me shoot the squirt gun.
What the hell is that? Which one is that?
This is the XC. All done up.
I just
So
want to
it's
I just want to shoot your 454 Kasul.
Just as good.
the high point. Hey, look, man,
Oh,
I'm
well,
not bad at the
hang
high
on,
point.
hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Just as
Yeah,
good.
you ain't gonna fuck with the 2 fingers.
I heard your 2 fingers aren't all they cracked up to be, homie.
It's not what you said the other night.
Now, Tony, I will tell you, I'm not, nobody can out high point Tony.
Oh yeah.
No,
So
you're not going to.
Tony is the high point guy. But I do want to say, Tony, that what you're not going to do is be disrespectful.
Where the hell y'all going to? I need
Okay.
some of what y'all drinking.
What you're not going to do is be disrespectful.
One-
First of all,
One
I have one
disappears,
of the
the other one comes
authentic-
back.
authentic
Yeet can.
geek cannon. Right? There you go.
Nice.
Bam. Okay? Authentic geek cannon. You know what I'm saying, son? Authentic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't make me follow it up with the 10 mil.
Nice. Hey, that's
All right.
cute. When you got the whole thing, baby.
All right.
When you got the whole thing. Made multiple appearances at the Train and Learn events. Introduced to many people at Train and Learn.
Yep.
I don't have the chassis. I can't. I ain't nothing I can do with that, man. You got it.
So we actually had that conversation. I got a call last night from a company that I did a review for, actually thanking me for doing the review and actually doing a long-term review, not just, hey, I shot it a couple of times and this is the premise. And that made me feel really good because I feel, why did it look green? Didn't it look green, Chris?
No, it must have been some of what you smoking.
One, don't smoke.
That's true. That's a beautiful gun, sir.
Yeah, it runs
That's what I'm saying.
beautifully.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I really, I like, because that's the VP9, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just dig them. I dig the HKs and how much work people put in. I have a high point. Because people talk trash about it. What really annoys me is when people online talk about firearms like they know what they're talking about with no experience whatsoever. That's the only purpose I bought a high point, was to see if it sucked. I have over 3,000 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson through that gun right there. Years of shooting it. I shot it 2 to 3 days a week. I went to the range and I worked on my fundamentals because I wanted to prove to people it's not the arrow, it's the Indian that puts in the work. And when I took my first concealed carry class was a law enforcement class. It was NRA law enforcement off duty, I think, or law enforcement concealed. Anyway, it was for law enforcement officers with their off duties. I show up. This is my first holster draw class, and I had to learn how to do it in the class as the class were going. And I did not get outshot. And I had that. And I did not get outshot. I did not embarrass myself. But I got it to run it, to let people know it is not what a lot of people online say, but it's easy to pick up. But they're a hell of a lot better guns. This Glock 19 kicks ass completely over that. This Glock 19 is so much better than that high point in so many different ways, unless all you had was $200 and it was either get that high point, protect your family now, or save up for this Glock 19 and never make it and be on the t-shirt next week. That's the difference. If you can afford better, get better. But if you can't, get what you have and become good with it. So that's what I look at as a reviewer, as an instructor, that what I'm doing is part of instructing people in life-saving skills and also an attitude on how to listen and when to ignore what you read and hear online and what you hear people talk about behind gun counters and even on podcasts. It's like, it's better to have something than wish you had something. And it's definitely better to have a skill than to have the gun. I think Rob Pincus has said that before. Which one do you want? Would you rather have the skill or the tool? And I'm like, I'd rather have the skill because I could use any tool I get my hand on.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Shut up. I think when individuals get to
Wait.
I guess you could call it the snobbish thing, or I would only carry this or I would only carry that. I think that people forget that you really have to have experience behind them. So in front of you, I have two different platforms, two different ones, and this one is the one that if I showed most people, and I said, "Would you like to carry this gun?" This was a G45. No, this is 19. This 19 with all the Gucci, all the Cerakote, the 10 barrel, the matching trigger, the cool mag, the great stippling. I mean, the Steiner and PS. This is an Instagram gun. This is what you see on IG, right? With the fast splits and all the things. This is what you see. Okay, it's a good gun. I'm not saying that it's not. This gun, if you notice, it's missing something right away that this gun has, and it's a holster. You know why? Because this little puppy right here, which is a dot and a light, just because the way I have it set up, is a 365X macro. I did put an Icarus grip mod on it. Didn't change nothing else. Right? I don't have to, because whether it's one of these two or the Glock that's on me now or the Truth or whatever or a High Point, whatever I pick up, it's gonna run. I get why we like this. I built it for a reason. I get why we like this. This is aesthetic. This is not. This does not. Tony's High Point could be way more dangerous in the hands of the right person than this gun can be in the hands of an unskilled individual.
Yep.
Absolutely. Without question.
Wait,
Right?
so what you're saying is no matter what I do to my gun, it's not going to make me any better?
Oh, hell no. Matter of fact, if you Gucci-fy your gun too much, it'll make you worse.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing
Absolutely.
this backwards.
Yeah, it'll make you worse. You'll be thinking that you got this or got that, and you ain't got nothing, man. You don't know what you're doing, and it's okay. Like, I think people get so offended. Like, if somebody says, if take a Bob Vogel. If Bob Vogel stood next to me and was like, "You got a lot of work to do," fucking Bob Vogel. yeah, right. Rob Latham stand next to me and is like, "Come on, man, let's get you better." Okay, like, I don't find that insulting at all. So you just have to be willing to say, "I'm going to get better," right? Like, and I have to render this one safe because I'm not going to touch the trigger. So this one here is my workhorse. This is the 19X I've been running. Now, if the camera was any closer than what it is now, this gun is marred all the hell up. The red dot is missing buttons and shit. Look at that. Look at the handle of grips. Look how slick that is. Look at how all the damn stippling is gone on the gun. Right? This gun looks like this because I shoot it a lot. This is a 14,000 round firearm, and I'm not even halfway done with it yet. 14,000 rounds cranking through this gun. It's a workhorse, right? So I can say, yeah, I can beat this all to hell. I can say exactly what this gun is capable of. It's 14 live trigger pulls and probably another 5,000 or 6,000, dry fire that this particular gun has been through. So I can say this gun can do this. But because I put so much work in with this gun, it wouldn't matter which one of these I picked up. I'm gonna run them. All right. So I love it when the internet's a great place, because I'm not saying some people out there don't have the experience and aren't really giving valuable opinions, but I love it when I meet people from the internet and their guns be so pretty. Every gun they show me pretty. One I got on them, one at home. I'm talking about just babies. How many scratches that Truth got on them? How much holster wear does it have?
A lot.
You see what I'm saying?
I got a, if you can't see it, maybe you can. I got a chunk missing out of the red dot. I mean, this gun has been through the gauntlet. I've run this thing. And it's funny because when I got this, somebody's like, "Oh, that's going to be a safe queen." Hell no. I'm going to run the shit out of it. In fact, you told me directly, run the shit out of it. I have. I do. You've seen it multiple times. It's got scratches. It's got stuff. I mean, it is what it is. I love it. I love this gun.
Yeah.
And
Pick guns. do some work, man. I tell people all the time, like if you're gonna come to me with an opinion about that's why I don't put training videos up online. Right? Because I'm not about to be. I mean, some people it works great. I noticed that the industry stopped doing it by droves. You used to be able to go on YouTube and find all types of training videos. It is down at least 80%. Because people are like, I'm arguing with Ghost. I'm gonna spend 2 hours putting this video together, and then 2 years arguing about it in a with Ghost. You have no application of what I'm saying. You just have theory, and you made that theory up while you were trying to find your favorite clip on Pornhub. Right? So it's kind of like.
Hey, now it was actually you porn.
You know what, Chris? I'm not.
One, Chris know was a link from Grindr that took him there.
With the Vaseline.
Hey, coach, put me in. Anyway, you're 100% right, dude. You got to put in work, and people don't want to do it. And it's funny. I posted a video of me training at an event in Florida, and some dude was like, "You're doing all that work to be chased down by a slow zombie," and I'm like, "Can't be chased. You can't chase somebody who don't run, bro." I ain't running to die tired, dude. I take what do you call that training? Active shooter training. And they were like, yeah, you run, fight, or hide. I'm like, 2 of them are out completely for me. 2 of those options are just a non-starter, bro. Unless we're in a bus parking lot, I got nowhere to hide. And
Cracker Barrel.
I ain't dying tired. We can't go to Cracker Barrel anymore since Chris decided to act up in the parking lot that one time. And I had to put him on timeout.
Oh man, you should have let it play out. I'm telling you, that woman would have called the cops on you.
Going to putting in the work, and I think she's a prime example of that. She's put in the work, and I mean, it shows. It clearly shows. Sometimes
way more than most men.
All right, Kevin's going to show us the worst handgun ever created with the biggest legend ever.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to show the legends, bro. I introduce to some and reintroduce to others, and then I'll make my point of bringing it out. The llama. You know, if you are not familiar with the llama, this is a iconic hood pistol. It is the 1911 that might not have seen 2 world wars, but it has definitely seen the 5600 block of Ma Street a lot. And through a lot of hood battles. The llama, but this is great. And this is a more modernized one. This isn't one of the real old ones, but it's great. But the reason I grabbed it is because when you talk about educating people, right? 1911s, and I have 4 or 5 of them, are not my favorite guns. They're not. I like 2011s. 1911s aren't my favorite. But I shoot them. I don't know why I shoot them. I'm not going to say I'm going to be a 1911 master gunsmith. I don't even like taking these damn things apart, if I'm being totally honest with you. Right. I took that damn 2011 apart. Shit. Yeah. Right? I don't even like taking them apart. But I understand how to operate them, how to run them, because there are still students that believe in carrying these guns.
Yeah.
So I need to be sped up. Now, I'm not going to teach a 1911 mastery course. It's not my thing. Right? There are guys that do that. But I will absolutely teach you how to operate and perform with this gun. The same way I will be able to teach you how to operate and perform with this gun. It is all the same in theory of educating yourself where you can be good for your students. Like I had to check myself. I think it was last year. I had to put myself, I was like, you know what? What would happen right now? When was the last time you shot a revolver? I was like, shit, been a minute. So I took a revolver out to the range with me and put a few hundred rounds to it. Just to run it. Because I can still teach somebody. I don't shoot revolvers a lot, but I can still teach somebody how to operate one. And I have several of them. So I can, break them out, understand working the moon clips or the speed loaders and stuff like that. I still know how to load them and get them going because some people, that's what they're going to have. Right? So you should be educating yourself around that kind of stuff as long as it exists. The same argument versus the iron sights, which are on this gun, versus the red dot. I've had to argue with one of my instructors that did not want to learn the dot. I was like, well, if you don't learn the dot, you're not going to be able to work here very long. Like, well, why would you say that? It's like, I give it another 4 or 5 years, and probably every major gun is going to come with an optic on it. We're already heading that way, So if they can find a way to sell the dot and make a higher profit margin and blend it in with the cost of the gun, from a business standpoint, they're going to do it. Right? We're getting all these special footprints like Glock did with Aimpoint with the Koa. You're getting all these different things coming out. So that's 5 or 10 years from now, man. Like, the people will probably be like, what do you mean it doesn't have a dot on it? Where's the dot? Right? So you got to be spun up on what people are doing and how they want to do it and what they want to have going on. So outside of flexing with the llama, because I know y'all ain't seen a llama. People out there in the world haven't seen a llama in quite a while. Outside of flexing with the llama, I just wanted to kind of bring that point up, right? So I can grab revolvers. Now, Chris was making a point earlier about not getting outside of your zone. So I have here this puppy, and people have already asked me, "Are you going to train me how to shoot that gun?" I'm going to be training kids how to shoot a version of this gun, but this is not I'm not going to be bringing in adults teaching them how to run it. And that is, I actually have it folded up. I want to fold it up when it's out. Bam. So this is my Ruger Precision Rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor, 26-inch barrel, beautiful bolt gun, right? The bolt's obviously not in it right now because it's brand spank new. Just pulled it out the box. This is brought to you by Ruger in support of the Kids to Kings program. So I have a gun to mimic the kids. Are going to have versions at 22, and we'll be out eventually past 100 yards. But everybody knows, if you know guns, that 6.5 Creedmoor sneezes at 100 yards. Like, what are we talking about? But I'm not going to be on the internet. And can I teach children how to run 22 versions of this gun and ballistics and stuff with a 22 at 100? Yeah, I'm very capable of doing that. Very capable of doing that. However, when I am going to, this is a mile gun, right? It might not be the most accurate mile gun, right? Because you got guys that spend up to $10,000, $12,000 on that kind of stuff, right? But out the box, this gun is capable of doing a mile. It's capable of doing over 1,700 yards with the right glass and things like that. I'm not going to be trying to teach people how to shoot long range. And I've shot a 260 nozzler over a mile and made impact. I got a challenge coin to prove it. I've also taken training with Buck Doyle and was consistently with a 260 rim making mile hits out of an AR-10 style platform consistently, right? Or was that a 15? I don't know, one of the two, right? Consistently doing it. But I'm not teaching people long range shooting. I do this. I'm going to teach children the principles of shooting at distance on 22 variants. But for me, when it's time to run this gun, you're going to catch me with guys that specialize in this stuff. Right? So just because you have it, internet, doesn't mean you have to pretend to be an expert at it.
Not at all.
Not. To this day, I still would not, with a fucking tank. I could literally be sitting in a tank. And I'm not going to start an argument with Jerry Mikulek and all he's got is a revolver. I'm not starting that argument. I could be driving Killdozer, and I'm still not saying shit. I'm going the other way.
I'm going the other way.
Right? And he's got a wheel gun. I'm not engaging. Right? So stop trying to be an expert in anything. It's okay not to know. Plus, I just wanted to show y'all my new gun.
I don't fault you, man. That 6.5 is
that's pretty.
That was actually the first 6.5 I shot was a 6.5 Ruger Precision rifle.
Hey, Jen, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clayton ain't got one this long, do we? Oh. Yeah.
Damn.
Tell them it's colder up in Minnesota, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's shrink. It's
And then you know what? Now the other fun part is
now we got them started.
Yeah, not fine. Now we gotta.
Well, I haven't talked guns in a minute, so it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's why I brought
for
it up.
semi-automatic purposes, this is the 6.5 that I put together originally, and this is off a Arrow M5 builder set. So this is back when you can actually get your parts from Arrow. I don't know what's happening now. You can actually get your parts. But this one is my first 6.5 build. This Brownell's MPO is actually a really good mill optic, so it can do it just fine. Ouch, I cut myself. So it can do it just fine, but this is my first one. And I only had this goofy ass thing on there because it was free. Somebody gave it to me, and I was nice to put it on. And I meant to take it off when he turned around, and I forgot. But I'll put a 30 cal can on this guy, and then a 30 cal can on the other one. But I will tell you a pro tip. I can tell you this: if you're going to get into distance shooting, and you want to really, really have a good time, and you want to put a can on your gun too, bolt guns suppress way better.
Mm-hmm.
And they sound awesome.
Yes.
So go get a bolt before you get a semi-automatic. But I also wanted to show y'all this 6.5 Creedmoor, because I don't get to show this one a lot.
I should suppress a 7.
Because as the kids on the internet said, I'm a uncle hating because I don't have a lot of guns, because they only see me with the same 2 or 3 guns all the time. So maybe this is my inner child coming out.
Yeah, those Arrow builds are great. I actually have a M16A4 clone that the lower was an Arrow.
Yeah. So Tony, as a guy that is in touch with, let me take over the podcast for a second and ask you a question, sir. What is happening with Arrow not getting parts out to their customers?
I have no idea. At the Circle Ball, I met the president of Arrow and the president of Stag, because they were all hanging together. That was the first time we were actually talking about Second Amendment. He seemed like squared away dudes. You know what I mean? They were really interested in actually fighting a good fight in Washington and Oregon. And then all of a sudden I hear you can't get parts from Arrow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They used to send stuff out all the time. I have no idea what changed with them, but they're not doing their thing, bro. And it's sad, because that used to be my starting point for people when I asked, I want to get an AR. What should I get? And I'm like, well, you'll save 11% right off the bat if you get an Arrow upper and an Arrow lower. Have the upper sent to your house, have the lower sent to your FFL. You'll save 11%. And I can't recommend them anymore.
Yeah, me either.
You might not
Hey,
get the
Clay,
gun.
the next time you go get it, you go try to. It's still not as long. You're still coming up short some.
Yeah, I thought it was longer than that.
Oh. Oh. Motherfucker.
This team us, babe. This team us.
I gotta get out and shoot this thing again. It's been a minute.
There's discontent in the slot.
Like you probably need to say something about the damn thing.
Yeah, man. What is it? That's the one you had to train on, isn't it?
Yep, I was about to get to. Yeah, this is the 7 mil. So custom built by Trophy Rifle Works out of Wyoming. This thing is awesome. He did all the circle job, fluted the barrel. Timney trigger in this one. So I need bigger glass though. So
yeah, this is how I know you have problems, because it's like you're trying to make one thing long while the things that complement it are really small. Yeah. What's the what's the numbers on the glass? Is it a 3 to 9 by 40? Like, what is it?
This one is the 14 by 4.5. So 4.5 by 14.
How the hell did you read those numbers off backwards, bro?
I don't know. It's because I did. Leave it to me.
It started with a 14. What?
Yeah.
He's got his optic on backwards, Kev.
No, it's
Yeah.
not on backwards.
Yeah.
It is not on backwards. Fuckers. I looked at it backwards.
It's
Hey,
so far away.
Jen, the main tool nor the accessories are as big as mine. I just want to.
Yeah, I need bigger glass. I need better glass for that thing.
I
That thing.
recognize that, Katie.
Woo!
This is why I
So
can't have
sad.
you get in the same room with each other, or outside of Prince's house.
Oh,
Well, hey, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Things are meant to remain secret, man. Okay. First of all, you're gonna have wondering why.
Chris, Chris, have you shot this one?
Yeah, train and learn.
You did shoot it. Okay, I know Tony did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a nice gun. Did I shoot that when I was up in Minnesota?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I do need to. Like I said, I gotta. Yeah, needs more glass. Because actually, that's
All right.
what I'm going to take to Jason's class for long range.
So I can, since this is going to talk about guns a little bit. So there's something that I saw on the internet. I actually have a YouTube video coming out on this. I was out at the range this week, and I did a few different videos. I'll be working on them this week. My birthday's Monday, so I'm not going to work until Tuesday. But this damn thing, it's called Death Grip. Now, I had seen them, and I'm like, that looks kind of goofy, right? And so, and here it is on the gun. It's on the Canic, right? And I'm like, well, the whole point reason why we want, grip tape or grip tape-like things on guns is because we want texture, right? And I'm like, well, it's slick, but I'm watching people drop water and things on them. And actually, let me get a thing of water real quick. I'll show you guys live. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm like, well, I don't think this is going to work. So I reached out to the company. Yeah, here's a bottle of water. I like to go after things that are still sealed because you never know if Chris is spikes and shit. But so here's a bottle of unspiked water. Okay. And
Only roofie your coffee.
shut up. Just where you guys can kind of see how it works, I'm going to drop a dab on here. It's bad.
Just a dab.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, so I put
That's
the
what
dab
she
of water
said.
on it. And you can see the spot there. And let me try to do another one so you can see it live on the camera. So now watch the water.
Whoa.
It's
You see it absorbing into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I poured 20 ounces of water on this damn thing because the only thing I saw everybody else doing was little droplets. So when I was at the range, I poured like water. I drenched it. And within moments, it dries up. And when you go to present the gun out, I promise you, your hand is glued to the gun. It still gives you texture, even though it feels rubbery. It kind of feels like, I don't know if anybody shot like remember the Taurus 24-7?
Oh,
Their
God.
handgun.
Yeah.
It feels like that with that. They call it ribber. Wasn't it like they had a proprietary name for it? It kind of feels like that, but the water absolutely absorbs. And then by the time I had a range day with it, it went right back to being dry. You can still tell where the water hit it, but you can't feel it. Like there is no slippery.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And I'm like, okay, and here's the cool part. As easy as you put it on is as easy as you take it off. So you can actually say, okay, well, I want to shoot without it. And you can just peel it right back off the gun and put it right back on. Right? So this is a very, very interesting product. You get it specific to the gun. I just had this Canic laying around, so I'm like, yeah, send it for the Canic. I'll put it on the Canic and give it a whirl. This is one that I ran for the PDN tour, I think a year or two ago. And I'm like, yeah, I'll put it on that. Give it let's give it a try. And it absolutely works. So they're called Death Grips, and they have them for the different guns. And then they also sent me the AR grip, but I think this is for the AR. I don't know if this is because it's Anyway, I think this is for ARs. So then you can get them for your AR grip. That's what it says on the pack anyway. Even though the packages all had the same gun on it, I'm pretty sure this is for ARs. So yeah, death grips. This was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very interesting product. Yeah, that's what I kept saying. And then when I shot it, and like in the YouTube video, you can see me like holding the gun, pouring water all over the gun as I'm holding it and grabbing it and shooting it in the camera, and the gun just stays. It just stays with no problem.
Interesting.
It almost feels like a pine tar feel to it.
Say what?
Like a pine tar feel.
First of all, Chris, I'm from the hood. All right. So don't be asking me what pine tar feel like. What the hell is pine tar? What are you talking about, Chris?
Sports. I mean, I figure you're a sports guy. I mean, pine tar that they put on baseball bats in the pros.
Yeah, baseball. Man, we ain't had no baseball where I'm from, bro. Give me baseball. That was for the rich kids. Right? Rich kids played soccer and baseball. We played football and basketball, and sometimes without the balls. Sometimes you play sports without the balls. It's like
so you played non-binary basketball.
Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, man, I would
get some
check these things out, man. Death grips. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of interesting. I'm still not a fan of the way it look.
Yeah.
It's they're really
What's the name? Just Death Grips?
Death Grip.
Yeah,
DEF grip. And they call it the grip that grips back. Sounds a little kind of perverted, but it is what it is. I made a mistake in one of my videos too, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it now because I'm not gonna be dealing with y'all bullshit. All right,
I didn't say it.
I'm gonna go and say it up front so nobody can catch it and then try to come say, "Oh, you thought we was gonna miss that?" Because I can't edit it out. All right, so I'm doing a review over this rifle. Okay, and on that rifle is a Surefire Scout body with a mod light head on it. And I was trying to explain to people why I don't have the Surefire head on it. And then I said, because my light has better head. And I'm not going to be able to live that down.
Oh, damn.
No, you didn't.
Oh, damn.
Oh, my God.
Oh, damn.
Well, if you're gonna make a choice, if you're gonna base a choice on something, that's a good category to base choices on.
Oh, I'm so happy.
That's really a good category.
What'd you say, Chris?
The front of the shirt is going to say "Come on me," and then on the back it's going to say "Because my light has better head."
Oh.
And then you do the Tony drill.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Ah. Wow.
Damn. Oh, damn.
While he screams my pronouns.
So
I got it coming. It's fine. It's cool. I'm gonna embarrass myself.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's 2025. Gun buddies have been supplanted. Gun buddies have been supplanted.
Oh,
All right,
man.
man.
Oh,
Yo, this has been fun, but I'm ready to get out of here, man.
definitely.
Yeah, I still owe myself a cigar. So,
I think it's been a real good conversation, especially, because we definitely wanted to have you on here and talk about train and learn, because that's one thing that's helped all of us and continues to help all of us. So, I mean, if you're somebody out there listening and you're in the industry looking for where you need to go to next, that is definitely the event. You need to get signed up for it. You need to be there because you're going to take something away. I've been there every year since the beginning, and I take something away every freaking year. It's not like it's the same thing over and over and over again like you might see at some of these other events. It is something different every year. There's different instructors. There's different speakers. It's absolutely amazing. And then being able to take everything that you learn from Friday and Saturday and start implementing that with Sunday by getting content, being able to talk to people in the industry like Ken Ross from Primary Arms and Anthony and Lance from Tactical Life. I mean, you're talking to major players within this industry, and you're not really going to find that anywhere else, at least not that I've seen. So it's definitely something I highly recommend. We'll have the link for it up in the video here, and we'll also have a link for it down in the description as well too. And it's Memorial Day weekend, and it's not full yet, is it, KD?
Nope, we still got about, I think, 20 to 25 spots available.
So
yeah, get signed up. And we actually added, you guys will be able to drop the, I mean, it's all verbal, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come through with it. We've added 2 new sponsors this year. As our title sponsors, we actually have Crate Tactical coming through. They make knives and steel plate products. They're going to be coming through, and then, which is a name we want more people to know about and get familiar with. But then we've also added a name that you might know coming through as a sponsor for Train and Learn this year. And that is none other than these guys.
Damn.
hey,
Nice.
All right, so yeah, you should be there. Oh, not including the fact that we have upwards now of $10,000 of creative ways. Yeah, I forgot to mention that because I don't want people to come for the stuff that they might win. But yeah, we're still gonna have that. So Train and Learn is the place for you to be for your place. It's not my event, man. I don't know another way to say that. I think I opened last year's event saying that. Like,
Yeah, you
say
did.
my event.
Yep.
I'm working hard to make sure everybody else is having a good time, man, and that they're learning and things are being facilitated, and businesses and brands are growing and being better. And my Rolodex is open, So hopefully everybody shows out. I don't have a doubt in my mind that we'll have a sold out house again. This is kind of when we start getting those last minute tickets, right about up until like early May. From now to early May, we start getting people rolling in. But there's also a finance option for it too. So when you go on the website to purchase it, you can also do 6 weeks interest-free financing it. So that option is out there as well. The hotel information, the link is there. You have to go to purchase your ticket. I have put the link for people that are already about to hit purchase, so nobody can see where the hell we're at. I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So
There we go again.
That has
Yep.
been what the hell? See,
Yeah.
that's what happened when you live with crackheads, man. They out there stealing the internet, stealing the copper out the wires. I told you.
Why did you do
I
that?
told you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
But yeah, so we'll be at the hotel. If you go, when you go to purchase your ticket, go to the bottom of the page. You'll see the hotel information. Once you drop that in your URL, the discount is automatically applied. You don't need to put in a code. It'll say Train and Learn on it. It'll tell you exactly where we're at. And this year, you guys experienced last year, which wasn't far from the hotel to the range was about 25 to 27, 28 minutes, a little bit less than 30, depending on what the traffic was. This year, we're going to be about half of that.
All right.
as long as there's a Cracker Barrel nearby.
Gotta eat.
I don't think it is.
Gotta get kicked out.
Yeah.
Gotta,
The Waffle House you kicked out of.
man, you know what kind of devilish stuff you need to do to get kicked out of Waffle House?
I'm just saying, you try it. You can try it. It's Atlanta Waffle House too, so they're a little bit different.
Yeah, believe me, if you'd have rolled into the Waffle House with us that first year train and learn,
Oh
it
man.
was the most that was the most well protected Waffle House in all of Missouri.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we came right from the night shoot. Oh, dude. So yeah, thanks for being on, KD. I see the
Absolutely.
slot liquors are falling off completely. I don't know where they at.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Not
hell's going on.
completely. We're still here.
We're here. The camera just
Uh,
took a shit.
All right.
So
It was my
Yeah,
pleasure being on.
Yeah,
My
definitely
pleasure being
appreciate you taking the time, especially
Absolutely.
talking about train and learn. It's like we all talked about. It's something that's helped all of us out. You don't want to miss this. Like you said, there's spots left, but I promise you they will fill up quick because time is ticking down. A little over what? So about 2 months
Oh,
out.
2 months now. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a way to get better, improve your business, this is where you need to be. Train and Learn is the event. Like I said, links will be all over the video. Links will be in the description. Thank you again, Kevin, for coming on and talking about Train and Learn and being
Hey.
able to share the story.
absolutely.
So you got training classes. You got your website up. So you have training classes going on for the rest of you too, KD.
Yeah. I appreciate the outro there, Chris. And yeah, training classes, nootherchoice.com /training, or just go to No Other Choice and you can go to the Register Now tab for all our training classes. It says training. You can see it right there. It's pretty obvious. You go there and we have classes all over the country, to include Minnesota with Pivotal Defense. I know me and Chris are rearranging some things for South Carolina, but South Carolina be on the books. We have Missouri coming up. Kentucky's already out there. So we got Palmer, Alaska back out there. We're going to be adding California here in a couple of weeks. So we'll be all over the country. Pennsylvania, first weekend of May, we'll be up there right outside of Pittsburgh, and constantly adding more. Constantly.
July, you're up here. In October.
Yeah, I said Minnesota, didn't I?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
Anybody forget? Yeah, I said Minnesota. They're gonna go to the website and see it.
Oh, all right, fine.
Jesus, man. All right,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm multitasking here. Sorry.
Minnesota on July 12th. See, I even know the date.
There you go.
All right. So yeah, just go out there to nootherchoice.com /training or and check the tab. You can also look there and book one-on-one training classes with me, or if you prefer a female instructor, Danielle with Defensive Unicorns, and also an adjunct instructor for No Other Choice is there as well. So if you're a female in the Atlanta area, you want one-on-one female training, you can book a one-on-one with her, or you can still sign up with me. So yeah, the options and the trainings are out there. And if you were interested in hosting training in your area, shoot us an email at info@nootherchoice.com and somebody will respond to you. So yes, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at The Real NLC for No Other Choice. So The Real NLC for No Other Choice. Most active on Instagram. We are going to have a lot of more activity happening on Facebook, X. Email list is absolutely going to be popping with great deals and things like that. We are going to make sure we are a benefit add to the consumer and the industry. And YouTube, we're pushing out more YouTube now. So pretty active over there in the conversation. The last video we dropped was about the P320, how it continues to end. So that was a good one. And I mean, we got all kind of things, red dots, and if you go check out the YouTube channel of Real NLC, you'll also see that we don't pull punches, right? So if we're talking about something, we're talking about it, and we're not going to. The beautiful thing about having all the guns is I don't have to lie, because I have a lot of stuff, so I'm not incentivized to lie about it. I want to give the consumer the truth. So yeah, check us out, follow us, and engage, have a good time, train. Please, for the love of God, train.
All right, man. Well, like Chris said, I appreciate you coming on and your time. But I'm going to add one more thing. If you want to also support what KD does, Gifts and Go /Greenwood is another way you can help support what he does as well.
Oh yeah, if you guys want to know more about what we do for the, thank you, Clayton. Appreciate that, brother. Giftsandgo.com /Greenwood will give you all the information, because I know the guys are ready to sign off. So I'll let you go there and give a quick read. It's less than a 30-second read. If you go there, you'll see what we're doing as far as the community program. The Greenwood Project, essentially, to shorten it up, is like your local community center doing well by children meets your local gun range, and they're all happening in the same spot.
There we go.
There you go.
And everything he labeled or named off will be down in the description. So you can definitely find him, and especially the Greenwood Project. Also, if you're there on his website, nootherchoice.com, grab some swag. You can use my code SEGS5. It's way better than Clayton's code of PD5. But that'll also be in the description as well too, and at the end, because Clayton and I are both affiliated with NOC, so our promo codes will be there if you want to grab any swag or anything you might need for your handgun, rifle, shotgun, medical. He's got anything and everything, and if he doesn't have it, reach out to him and he can probably get it.
Yep.
I think we got 600 SKUs, and by the end of summer, that 600 is going to go to 13.
Nice.
So
Awesome. So thank you again, KD. We hope everybody has a great night, and hope you enjoyed the episode. Peace out.